Welcome to Faith, Family, Fitness, Freedom on 100.7 The Word. I'm Jason Lupo with my co-host, Aaron Lujan.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody.
And we are joined by our special guest, the owner and head chiropractic honcho, Dr. Peter
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here.
of Hexis Chiropractic. And Dr. Peter's going to bring us some really good information this week. Aaron, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I am a patient of Dr. Peter. I just started care recently, and I invited him onto the show because he invited me to a health talk over the weekend with my family, and I was absolutely mind blown, truly mind blown, because my idea, and Dr. Peter's probably not going to like to hear this, but prior to meeting Dr. Peter, I always thought chiropractics was like this thing that you do when you get into a car accident to like fix an injury. That was it. That's all I thought it was. I don't need a chiropractor. I'm healthy. I'm, relatively young. I take care of myself. Like I don't need chiropractic. Like that's for injured people. And so forgive me, Dr. Peter, that was my understanding of chiropractics. And then I actually got into a car accident and I was advised to seek chiropractic care, and a friend introduced me to Dr. Peter, a client of mine and friend. And I met Dr. Peter, thought he was a real awesome guy when I met him. And sure enough, we started getting care, went to his health talk, and I was absolutely mind blown. So today, Dr. Peter is actually going to discuss what I think everyone should be doing, is be at a chiropractor as a form of preventative health care. So Dr. Peter, tell us quickly your background, how you got into chiropractics, your education or experience, but then just high level, what is it that people need to know about chiropractic, and how would you define it?
Okay. So first and foremost, that's what people most commonly think of chiropractic. We've done a really poor job as a profession to explain what exactly it is, and that's what I'm going to do today. So how I got into chiropractic: at the age of 12, I was introduced to a chiropractor by my brother, and I still stay in contact with that family chiropractor to this day. He's a mentor of mine. My brother went to a chiropractor just to see what it is. He was just purely curious. And he said, "What?" It's the same message that I gave to you, to your family, this past Saturday. He gave to us, and so I decided, or my family decided, let's go in. Let's see what this is all about. The biggest impact that it's had on my family, I would say, is probably mostly with my dad, where he was suffering with migraines as well as sinus infections. He would get chronic sinus infections, especially going into spring and summer. And through chiropractic care, he was able to completely alleviate those issues. And he could probably count on one, maybe two hands, how many times he's had a headache or a sinus infection in the 17 years that he's been seeing a chiropractor. And that was all explained by the chiropractor in terms of, there's a rotated bone in his spine, and that was putting pressure on nerves. And because we derotated that bone, and now he's able to, now with that nerve functioning more appropriately or properly, now he's able to not experience those symptoms. So in terms of my education, I went to UConn. I'm from Connecticut, so I went to University of Connecticut, graduated with a degree in kinesiology, which is a big word for study of motion of the body. And then I went to chiropractic school in Atlanta, Georgia, Life University. I graduated in 2021. I came back to Connecticut to work for a year for a great chiropractor, and we're seeing almost 400 patient visits a week. And then I came out to Colorado, a beautiful Colorado, because I could live wherever I wanted to be.
Let's go.
So I thought, let's go to Colorado. So I worked up in Boulder for about 15 months. And then at that point, I said, let's make it down to Colorado Springs, because my chiropractor that I actually worked for up in Boulder, he's the president of the CCA, which is the Colorado Chiropractic Association. He said, we need good chiropractors down in Colorado Springs. He had that we need some help down there. So I said, let's do this.
Amen.
I want to do this. So I came down here, opened my practice technically in October of last year. And it's really been a blessing to meet so many people, especially when I came here without knowing a single soul. I didn't know a person here.
Wow.
It's really amazing to go from 0 to 100 and the limited time that I've been here so far.
Yeah, well, Dr. Peter, you loved here in Colorado Springs. So tell us, when you sat down, you said there's two major causes of death, and that's heart disease and that's getting shot by gang members, right? I'm just kidding. It was heart disease, and what was the second one?
It's cancer.
Cancer. So talk to me about that. Like, so many people are dying of cancer and heart disease. How does chiropractic prevent those things?
So the reason why it's a problem, first and foremost, is that these are preventable ailments. So when you get heart disease, it's usually not diagnosed until you have a heart attack, and usually it's too late. Cancer is usually not diagnosed until stage 3 or stage 4. We also spend the most money in the United States, about $13,000 to $14,000 per person in the United States on healthcare. Yet
Wow.
we receive the worst, almost the worst results in the entire world, where we have the highest percentage of preventable disease. And so the reason why chiropractic comes into that, to be a solution to that problem, is because we're preventative. We're not reactive. Like, why would we have preventable diseases being the top 2 reasons why people pass away when and it's because we react to the symptoms instead of addressing problems before they happen. And so the way chiropractic works is we work with the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So every uh, commonly people think of chiropractic as neck pain, low back pain, headaches, car accidents, but really we get at the root cause of the problem. We don't chase symptoms, right? We understand that the body has the ability to heal. It's very intelligent, that we're created with everything possible for us to heal. God created us to heal. And so what we do is we don't necessarily add anything to the body, but we remove interference on the nervous system. And what that does is it help you function better, it helps you thrive, it helps you heal. And the way we do that is the spinal cord goes through the spine, and when you have misalignments in your spine, it can put pressure on your nervous system. It can not only give you pain and discomfort, maybe that numbness and tingling, but also it can show up in other signs and symptoms because those nerves not only control your muscles and your pain, but also controls the organs, the glands, the different systems that just let you do your normal bodily functions, your normal other everyday bodily functions.
Yeah, I wanted you to dig deeper into that because that's the part that really shook me and really just enlightened me to this idea that chiropractic care can truly be the best preventative healthcare you can have, and you can avoid the surgery room, you can avoid the drug doctors. So you say that the central nervous system, the spine, is connected to all of these various glands that impact mental clarity, that impact sleep. Can you talk to us about maybe some of the common things that people are finding relief from or healing from, like sleep, like mental clarity, that type of thing?
The most common thing I see in today's world, and it's because of our technological age, is a forward head posture. And there's a lot of stress in our upper spine. And you got to imagine your brain is right here, obviously, right in your skull. Well, right below your skull, right below your brain, your spinal cord goes through your neck. So because we're putting so much stress, it's like we're putting, imagine your spinal cord is like a garden hose. So imagine we're twisting the garden hose right here, but the end of the garden hose is at the base of your pelvis.
Hmm.
So if we twist, that garden hose up here, it's going to affect the flow of information going all the way down to the rest of your body.
So visual.
So, the big thing that I do in my office, my big focus is that neck area, but specifically the upper cervical area where your brainstem sits.
Mm.
Your brainstem is that first extension off the brain, and it controls vital functions like your respiratory rate, your ability to be, hungry or satiated, just mental clarity. So common symptoms I see are the headaches, the migraines, but also you're not concentrating very well, or you're not sleeping very well, or you feel very anxious, or you feel very depressed, right? We like to think of taking outside in approaches, which they definitely do help without a doubt, but maybe there's something going on internally within your own system because something is stuck, something is out of place, and it's preventing you from getting the most out of life.
Tell me that story. You said you had a young lady in your office the other day that was incredibly depressed, very young woman, a young girl, I think, and she was prescribed some antidepressant medications. And then can you tell me, because I think that was a really interesting story.
Yeah, so few months into practice when I just graduated, 13-year-old girl, she comes into the office, but she's not the patient, it was her mother. But myself and my employer at the time, we saw that she looked like a zombie. She came in and she just seemed like she was dead to the world. We would try to talk to her and it's like she was mumbling. It was very sad to see.
Yeah.
13 years old, and
Tragic.
we asked the mother, how is she? And she said, well, we got her on some antipsychotic, antidepressant medications a few months ago because she just didn't feel well. And, she's like, I don't see any progress with her. I don't think this is helping. And she said, I mean, I want to do anything I can for her. So we said, hey, let's take some x-rays. Let's see if there's something going on internally that could be causing this issue. So we took x-rays. We saw that for a 13-year-old girl, just only 13 years of life, her upper spine was a wreck.
She has iPhone neck.
Yes, text neck. I mean, that is the common thing that's happening now. And so she had a lot, and that was just putting enough pressure on her brainstem where it was just affecting all her systems, where she was depressed. And so we got her adjusted over a course of about 2 months. And I could say just within a couple weeks, she was a different person. After 2 months, I mean, we went from somebody who was a zombie to somebody who would say, hey, she comes on a Monday morning. She says, hey, I had a slumber party with my friends.
Oh, praise God.
And, I'm back to playing volleyball and all these things. And it's like,
Wow.
wow, just because she didn't change anything else, it was just getting pressure off her brainstem and her upper spine.
It's incredible. That's such an incredible story, guys, because what I am hearing Dr. Peter say is that God gave us bodies that are intelligently designed to heal themselves. And I see chiropractors simply aiding in the process as opposed to seeking man-made outside sources that create more problems generally. Like drugs sometimes and many times have this snowball effect where there's side effects to the medications, and then there's opiate addictions. There's addictions that are happening because people are being prescribed all these drugs. I mean, one could argue you have an opiate epidemic, but that's a different story for a different day. This is all very fascinating. Other than the mental clarity, the relief of depression, have you also seen some other major improvements where people kind of snap back into reality and find healing again just by simply having chiropractic care?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Weight, maybe because I know that obesity is an issue. Maybe speak to that.
blood pressure is a big thing.
Okay.
I've noticed multiple people. I mean, they come in and they're overweight and they want to change. And I know multiple patients where they come in and they said, yeah, I went to my medical doctor and they checked my blood pressure today, and it's been monumental, the improvement. And so you're probably thinking, how does that even work? Well, you have nerves. One of the biggest nerve that we focus on is the vagus nerve. So it actually comes from your brain. It goes through your upper spine.
Is it
the upper
the vagus nerve?
vagus nerve? It's
Like Las Vegas?
not Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than that. So the vagus nerve, it's a cranial nerve, meaning it comes from the brain, and it has as much as 80% control over something called your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system. The way I describe it is you have two systems, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is it revs you up. It keeps you going. Like if a bear
Walk into the room.
walks into the room, you would hope your sympathetic nervous system works so you can get the heck out of there because you don't want to be attacked.
Sure.
But your parasympathetic nervous system is what helps you relax, helps you stay calm. And in today's society, we don't have a lot of predators, right? Our predators right now is media. It's people telling us that things are going wrong. Maybe it's, finances, right? Those are our predators right now. So our parasympathetic nervous system is being attacked because we are simply overstressed in abnormal ways. And so that vagus nerve has about 80% control over that system. And when you have pressure in the upper cervical spine, putting pressure on the vagus nerve, it can shut that system down. It's, I describe it as a dimmer switch, right? But it's like when we're dimming down the light over time. Like over time, we are dimming down your ability to heal, your ability to have that mental clarity, but also your ability to just have that relaxation response so you can have no brain fog, so you can sleep right, within 5 minutes of hitting, your head on the pillow. That's the most important area that I adjust in my office.
And so are your patients experiencing lower blood pressure, weight loss as a result of chiropractic care?
Yes, yeah, because I've asked multiple patients, what else have you done to change this, and they said nothing. Right now, that is anecdotal. I get
Sure.
that, but I mean, these people, I mean, they're telling me, I don't know what I've done. I can only attribute it to chiropractic care. So that vagus nerve is a big component, but also, I mean, you have nerves all throughout your spine. I like to think of the spine as like it's like a circuit breaker. So at each level, it goes to a different area of the body. So, nerves that come from your low back, they're going to go to your digestive organs or down your legs. In your mid spine, we're thinking more some digestive organs, but also areas like your pancreas and gallbladder and liver and things like that. So, and a little bit higher, we're thinking of the heart as well. Nerves go to the heart. So we have to imagine that we are designed very intelligently, and we're taking these outside in approaches, which, it's almost like we're going from opiates to now we're trying to figure out other outside in approaches that aren't as toxic. But why don't we just look inside? Because we are designed with everything possible, and we just need to work with what God created.
Yeah, God gave us intelligent bodies with everything that we need to heal. And chiropractic care, from what I'm hearing from you, is simply allowing that divine process to take its course.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. And so I wanted to just give you another opportunity. We talked about weight, we talked about mental clarity, we talked about mental wellness, mental health. What would be another kind of common thing that you're seeing people find healing from through chiropractic care?
So outside of what's going on upper cervically, we can think of, numbness and tingling, right? That is actually overstimulation of the nerve. If you have numbness, so down into your arms, hands, and fingers, into your legs. I've helped people with digestive issues. I had one guy, he was 21 years old when he came in, and he said that after he would eat anything, it didn't matter what he ate, he would have diarrhea within 10, 20 minutes, if that. So he had to change his schedule of what he was eating based on if he was going to travel, if he was going to work, or anything. He couldn't snack at work because if he had to snack, right, he had to go to the bathroom right then and there. So we were able to get him adjusted. There were issues in his low spine. We got him adjusted, and he didn't experience diarrhea anymore. So with kids, a lot of kids, they're very worried about some kids, they have bedwetting. So there's one bone, your L3 bone. When that rotates, the nerves that come from there, they go to your bladder. And so that is the most common thing that I see with bedwetting kids is their L3 bone is out of place. And when you've put that back into place, the bedwetting stops.
That's amazing. That's so incredible. Well, how do people find you? What if someone's interested in chiropractic care, what can they do?
Well, I would love for them to go to a reliable chiropractor. Unfortunately,
Do you know of any?
I do actually, yeah. There are a lot of good chiropractors in Colorado Springs. Like with any profession, it's like if you go to a bad restaurant, it doesn't mean you're never going to eat food again. I don't want people to be discouraged by going to a chiropractor they don't like. The right fit matters because it's all about trust between doctor and patient. But yes, I am a chiropractor, and I think I do it the right way. And so if you do want to reach me, our social media has, we post there very regularly on a weekly basis, multiple times a week for more health information. We're trying to just add value to people. So you can see us at hexischiropractic.com, Hexis spelled HEXIS. And then you can always join our website as well. It's simply hexischiropractic.com.
Well, I just want to close out with a personal testimony. So I've been seeing you for about 2 weeks, roughly.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe not even 3 weeks. And I used to have what they called buffalo neck. I don't know if that's the correct term. What is the medical term?
It's technically called dowager's hump. There's someone called dowager, and it's basically when your head comes forward, the upper spine area and your upper back, it actually pops out, and it makes it can get inflamed, and it looks like you have a hump.
Yeah, my dowager's deformity is what I used to be embarrassed of. And now I'm talking about it on the radio. This is ironic, right? But I guess I can talk about it because I'm free, because it went away. Like, it was almost a tennis ball, and it's barely like a pebble right now. And that, my wife is like blown away. Like, that is just dramatic visual proof in my own personal life in less than 3 weeks, the value of what I've come to have from chiropractic care. Afterwards, I do experience mental clarity. I just feel more alive. My sleep is better. I remember prior to seeing Dr. Peter, I would get up a lot during the night to go to the restroom and, just kind of toss and turn a little bit. That's just what I came to. That was normal for me, is I never really slept super deep unless it was like a really hardworking day. But now I just sleep. Like, I don't struggle. I don't toss and turn like I used to. Like I lay down and I fall asleep. So thank you. And this is just a testimony in my own life to what this has done. So, I mean, as I'm learning from Dr. Peter and as I'm experiencing this, I can tell you that this is probably one of the best investments you can make in your health is because it's preventative, is chiropractic care.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing I want to add is just, I'm not the healer, God is the healer.
Come on.
So I'm just the conduit. We're still trying to figure out how to optimize this profession and do it the best we possibly can to really figure out what is the cause and how we can better move those bones appropriately and get them into alignment. But God does the healing ultimately. He is the one that is healing you. So I like to tell people after I get them adjusted, the power is on, right? Because that power is now initiated because we took interference off that nervous system.
So, Dr. Peter, we got a little bit of time left. Where do you see the industry of chiropractic heading? Where is it presently heading?
I am really excited, actually. We've gone from a profession in which we've been tried, especially by the AMA, the American Medical Association. They've been trying to get rid of us, and we were completely defended in 1987. Where now chiropractic is a profession that cannot be defamed, or it is a valid way of healthcare. And so we're at the point where, especially going through COVID, people are having questions. They're very skeptical. And I love that. I love when patients come in and they ask me questions. How does this work? Why does this work? And when I explain it, like with Aaron, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Mhm.
So I really like the where health is going because we're heading the right direction. Are we where we should be? We're so far off where we should be, right? But I really love that there's a lot of people that are looking for alternative ways for health because they're realizing that the traditional, medications, surgery, it's not fixing the problem. They're band-aids, and chiropractic actually looks at going a level deeper and actually correcting things from the source.
Where should we be in an ideal world? Where does chiropractic
Chiropractic.
chiropractic
Yeah.
care, where should it be?
Where should it be? My goal is I want to have 8 million chiropractors taking care of 1,000 people each. And that means we can take care of the entire world. Chiropractic is pretty much exclusive to mainly the United States, Canada, and maybe a few other countries. I want to be able to spread the message. I want to be able to tell people all around the world that this is a form of healthcare that should be mandatory. I mean, when I have kids, I'm going to check them for misalignments in their spine. Not saying we're not doing gross manipulations by any means on a little baby. It's very gentle and very soft, but that's what I'm gonna do for my kids. And I want people to think that way, to think, even though they're not experiencing any symptoms, let's make sure that everything is functioning properly in their spine and their body so that these things don't ever happen. So they don't get colic or they don't get fussy or they don't have tongue tie, right? I'm very passionate about young children as well. We have too much of an epidemic of kids that have issues that they didn't have before. Why is this happening? Is it attributed to just the food and just our society going from more of going outdoors and now we're inside on technology? That is a part of the cause, but those are stressors that can then eventually lead to spinal misalignment.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having or coming on this show. I do want to film a little bonus content after we're done with this episode. So you're going to have to find that online or on YouTube or Rumble. But thank you, Dr. Peter, for joining us. You have some specials right now. Do you want to talk about your specials that are going on?
Yeah, sure thing. So we have ads online, and they're for $47. I'm trying to make it affordable for you guys to come in because I really believe that everyone should be checked for these misalignments in the spine that we call subluxation. But it's $47 for a consultation with myself, where we're going to go over your goals so we can actually track and measure things over time. It's going to include any necessary X-rays that we need to take. It's going to include the first adjustment, so you get a taste of what an adjustment is like and actually experience some relief. And then also includes the following visit where I go over your X-rays with you in detail, explaining exactly what's going on in your spine and what we need to do to make the corrections.
Well, thank you, Dr. Peter, for joining us. This is Faith Family Fitness. Join us online or on the radio every Saturday, 9 a.m. on 100.7 The Word or on Rumble or YouTube. Look up Faith Family Fitness for more information. Have a great day. God bless.
Peace.
God bless.